So today I'm talking about a Volkswagen with the P0442 code, what it is and how you go about fixing it. And so what is a Volkswagen P0442 code? Well, it's an evap system small leak detected. And what does this mean? Well, modern vehicles have what's called an evap system that basically takes all the gas vapors from the gas tank and feeds them back into the engine to get burnt off so they don't escape into the atmosphere. This is for emissions. And the onboard computer's seen a problem with this, so it's going to have to be troubleshooted to know why. And so what are some possible causes? Well, it could be a bad gas cap, could be a bad purge valve, could be the leak detection pump, there could be a leak somewhere inside the system, could be in the wiring, and possibly the charcoal canister. And so there's going to be some differences on exactly what's going on inside the evap system, depending on the Volkswagen, the year, and things like this. So it's always a good idea to get a diagram for your specific Volkswagen to know exactly what's going on. But the basics of what's going on is that you're going to have gas vapors, they're going to leave the gas tank, they're going to go through a hose, they're going to go over to what's called the charcoal canister, and this is basically like storage for the gas vapors. Depending on your Volkswagen, there may or may not be a vent valve. It's going to vary, but basically the vent valve is just a solenoid that opens to outside air. And there's going to be a leak detection pump inside of the system. And this basically controls the pressure inside of the system. And it'll run tests to see if the system's holding pressure. And if the system's not holding pressure, then it's going to report this to the computer. And then the hose is going to go up to the top of the engine. And up here is what's called a purge valve. And the purge valve basically opens when the engine's running, so the gas vapors could go in and get burnt off. And then it closes when the engine's not running, so they don't escape. And so that's a very basic overview of what's going on in the evap system. Like I said, be sure to get a diagram for your specific Volkswagen to know for sure what's going on. And so the first thing to go and check is going to be the gas cap. Be sure that it's not damaged or cracked or anything like this. Basically, just be sure that it's sealing up correctly, because if it's not sealing, then it can cause a leak, and that's going to cause issues. So first thing to do, go check your gas cap. If the gas cap looks good, the next thing to go and check is going to be the purge valve. This is just a really simple solenoid that opens and closes when the computer commands it to. It's going to be located up inside the engine compartment somewhere. It can vary on exactly where it's at in the engine compartment, but it'll be up there somewhere. It's going to have two hoses going to it and a wiring harness. And the purge valve is a common failure inside an evap system, so the next thing to do is either test it or replace it. I made a video on how you go about testing these purge valves. If you want to check that out, I'll put a link in the description below. But the next thing to do is to test or replace that purge valve. And so if the gas cap looks good and the purge valve tests good, then very likely there is a leak inside of the system somewhere, inside of one of these hoses going around to everything, or one of these components like the leak detection pump is leaking or something like that. And so if you took it to a mechanic, what they would do is they feed smoke into the evap system, and then wherever the smoke come out, they would know where the leak's at and they'd be able to fix it. There's some low-cost smoke machines on like Amazon or eBay. I'll put a link down below if you need to check one out. You can also make these up yourself. There's some good YouTube videos on how you can make one of these up for like $5, $10. But the next thing to do is to go around to all these hoses all the way through to all these components and try to see if there's any leaks going on. And this is going to include things like the charcoal canister and the leak detection pump and things like this. And one of these components can be leaking, or it could be inside of one of these hoses going around everything. There might be a leak inside of one of these, and it'll just have to be found. Trying to find a leak in the evap system can be hard to do sometimes. That's why mechanics will use a smoke machine. But the next thing to do is to follow all those hoses and check out all those components and try to find the leak. And so that's basically it. I just wanted to give a basic overview of how you go about fixing a Volkswagen with the P0442 code. If you have anything to add, please comment down below. If you have any questions, ask me and I'll try to answer them. If this video helps you, please click like, please click subscribe, and have a good day.